So I think I was introduced to Harley Quinn the same way every kid was, the Lego Batman games. Because in the Lego Batman games, she had the best costume, she was the most fun to play because she could, like, do a cool jump, and she was friends with the Joker, who was the other coolest character in the game. I've actually not watched the animated series that she originally appeared in, but this last week I've been watching every Harley Quinn, like, movie and TV show and, some of the newer comics, depending, that I can. And it's because Harley Quinn used to be my favorite DC character, but let's be so for real. She did not have an easy time in the 2000s, like the periods of like 2008 to 2000 recent. Jesus, man. And I think it's mostly because writers don't really know what to do with her. A lot of her designs, especially in the comics, are IMO too horny, and most of her characterization in animated works is a little cringe. After Suicide Squad 2016 took away my will to live, I left thinking, wow, Margot Robbie is a perfect Harley Quinn and an incredible actress. This is like everything I wanted. But Joel, maybe the director of Suicide Squad's horny directing was just a little difficult to watch, and the reactions from the worst couples really put me off from consuming any more Harley Quinn content in the future. It felt like if I was like, oh, I really like Harley Quinn, then people would look at me like I was one of those people who got like the daddy's little monster shirts and made my toxic boyfriend dress up with me, and that's the I don't want that stink on me. During the pandemic, when Birds of Prey, The Suicide Squad, and the Harley Quinn animated TV show all dropped at the same time, I thought it was kind of like over for the character. I thought she was going to go the way of Deadpool, and I'd never be happy again. And that thing about never being happy again was true for many reasons, some unrelated to Harley Quinn, but most not. Until this last week, on one stoned night, when I watched The Emancipation of One Harley Quinn featuring the Birds of Prey, and my new personality downloaded. Shockingly, I didn't get as hooked onto Ewan McGregor's best role as much as I probably like would have if he was the only good part of this movie, which is true for many things Ewan McGregor's in. Man of Gotham! Because instead, I was focused on Harley Quinn in what is maybe the first non-Lego portrayal I've ever seen of her that wasn't just there for the male gaze. And I know that term gets it's a loaded term, but I swear, please hear me out. Men of Gotham, please hear me out when I say that I think Birds of Prey is unironically the best movie of the DCEU and maybe the best Harley Quinn thing since her inception. And I think we should all thank the Lord above for Kathy Yon, because after watching the new Superman movie and The Suicide Squad, I really think her style in this movie was the precursor to what I think is becoming the new style of Superman movies. We talk about it on the podcast about how we've been stuck in kind of the days of washed out parking lots with flat shots and flatter costumes. No offense, though. I know a lot of the costume designers for Marvel, and I don't think a lot of the things I dislike about the style of their costumes is really within their hands. I'm just saying that I'm very happy to see superhero costumes that actually look like comic book costumes, as well as outfits that I myself would really like to wear. Like watching this movie, I was like, oh my god, we have a real director with real direction and camera stylization and a movie that actually has a message and a way of saying that message that I've never seen before in these kind of corporate military propaganda films. I promise I'll keep it chill. I'll keep it chill. Men of Gotham. I'll keep it chill. Hashtag Men of Gotham. I see you. I hear you. And I just really hope you understand me when I say that for the first time in my life, I watched a movie that spoke to me as a woman. both in terms of the constant beating over the head of aggressive kind of Tumblr feminism, but also in terms of framing, like the actual way characters are framed in this movie. This is my little sister. She liked the movie too.
Hi.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
What the hell?
What?
Get out of here, get out of here. Shout out to women. For real though, hashtag Men of Gotham. Okay, back on track. Because no shade to every other director, it seems, in Hollywood, especially for the superhero movies, but never once in Birds of Prey are we introduced to a character through a shot of her midriff. And every moment of this movie felt like Men of Gotham Stay Still. It felt like it was through a female lens, through the eye of a woman who understood how a woman would like to be perceived and framed rather than just having a body there to be attractive and all other things like character um intrigue come secondary. And hashtag Men of Gotham for real, but like come on, like it's it just gets mind numbing. Like are people not tired of this? Like why is this happening? And unless you're a true gooner, which respect Men of Gotham, I guess, but unless you're a true gooner, I feel like you have to be exhausted too of just horny slop movies. Cool ass characters with charm and comedy who have all that overridden just for shots of their feet. How many scenes are we going to have to watch of a main female character being threatened, and instead of seeing through her eyes how intense the moment is, instead, through the view of the camera, the audience is forced to take like the lecherous view of the director's power fantasy as his self-insert male character threatens our female lead, but like in a hot way. I I don't know. I'm just like tired of it. I'm so tired of it. I'm using words like lecherous because it makes me feel like I'm like an unwilling participant in something. I don't like it. So low key, that's kind of why this movie changed my brain chemistry a little because where every time they did one of those like action movie interrogation scene tropes, we saw through the woman's lens just how fucking gross it is. Which is why I kind of liked that every single man in this movie is just fucking gross and sucks. There is not a single character who is male in this movie who isn't like the worst, up to the point of Ewan McGregor literally saying Men of Gotham in his villain speech, which is the greatest line in the DCEU, but that's neither here nor there. Rest in peace. And then later, Ewan just gets fucking blown up without remorse. It's fucking awesome. This movie was unabashed in the way I think a perfect adaptation of Harley Quinn is. I said this movie changed my brain chemistry, and I really mean it because ever since watching it, I've been inspired to enter what I'm calling my party era, and I've been trying to dissect the psychology of Harley Quinn. And while it varies across media that we'll talk about, I think in this great movie, she is someone who is able to live adjacent to the stuff that's got her all fucked up. And adjacent's the key word there. And I mean that like we all have tragic backstories. No one's free from that in the world. And heaven only knows Harley Quinn has a new kind of tragic backstory depending on who's writing her. We'll get to that. And we all react to our tragic backstories differently. Some people hold onto the tragedy in their hearts forever, go more and more inward and isolate, and eventually start dressing as a bat. I have spent years in therapy and the occasional embarrassing meditation retreat to try to find a way to let go and overcome what's got me all gunked up. And at first I thought Harley was someone who was able to find the answer. But then you think about it and see that Harley is someone who is at the same time super fucked up and not over anything, but also over it at any time and can focus on the more important things in the world, such as eating a sandwich you were craving, which I truly think is like, not to be too esoteric or anything, but like, that's kind of like the reason we live. We don't live to get vengeance on our parents' murderer. That's some kind of reason we find for living to fill in all like the boring stuff. But the real reason we live is just to like eat and vibe, and all this tragic stuff kind of just makes the points that we're not eating and vibing a bit more interesting. Harley Quinn isn't someone who's found some way to let go of her baggage, but she's also not someone consumed by her issues. Her baggage is like somewhere over there, adjacent to her, still present, but she's not stressing about getting rid of it. And when it does come to the forefront, she feels her emotions fully, blows up a chemical factory, and then goes back to watching Looney Tunes. I don't know. To me, that's just a really beautiful way to live life. Being so free and making how you want to live your life just however you're feeling at the time, rather than each moment having to be a decision. Now, would I have enjoyed this movie as much and had these thoughts if Margot Robbie wasn't the incredible actress that she is? I don't know, probably not. But I did. And it made me seek out as much Harley Quinn media as I could to continue this rare growth moment I was happening, which led to me borrowing a lot of my friends' Harley Quinn comic books and returning them before I thought to make this video and get maybe like pictures of the books I was reading. But use theater of the mind. We'll be talking about them later. Because it also led me to watching the Harley Quinn show. I'm on season 4 now, and like the video essays aren't wrong. It's fucking beautiful what they do. It's great and all, but like I'm gonna be so for real. It's like a great show. And I mean this with all the love of my heart because once again I know some people who worked on it and I haven't told them I have a YouTube channel. So do me a solid and I hope you're not watching this video so that it doesn't get big enough for them to see because then that's going to be an awkward conversation maybe. I don't know. I'm just saying that as a Harley Quinn show that's animated with unlimited potential, I don't think I ever watched a full episode where I was like, oh, yo, that's Harley Quinn. She's spontaneous, occasionally funny, and fun to watch exist in the world. Like, I literally love all the takes of the characters. They've become my headcanon, and I think a lot of the episode plots are incredible. But at most, Harley Quinn, the character in this show called Harley Quinn, only ever felt like a millennial who is adorkable and sometimes hashtag lol random. Like this whole show is just a dry millennial sitcom with like an action scene at the 16-minute mark. And I've laughed a lot. I've actually laughed so hard I've had to call my friend who I watched Birds of Prey with to say, you should really watch this TV show. But I really just don't think the bit works if Harley Quinn is as dry a millennial as the character she's bouncing off. I think Harley Quinn doesn't work as a solo character, but works best when she has a group of people very different from her to bounce off of. If she is also finishing every sentence going like with like some kind of like sarcastic joke to Poison Ivy, I don't know, man. It feels like I'm watching the Bing Bong Theorem. And I hate the Bing Bong Theorem. And sometimes Harley Quinn is Harley Quinn, but like most, I'd say like a good 80% of the time, it's just like a show about dry millennials trying to get the last quip in before they cut away to another scene because they're too afraid to let conversations play out and characters to develop. I swear I loved it. I swear I loved it. Don't shoot. Don't shoot. I swear I loved it. I don't know, man. Like, I do like how the show about a female character occasionally has a female writer who does a good job at the whole female lens thing I was talking about before. But like, dog, come on. Like, how come Harley Quinn only has energy when she's screaming? I know eventually as time goes on, Harley Quinn will go from being a millennial in canon to being Gen Z and saying shit like skibbity toilet, Mr. J. But I see her as a millennial, just not this kind of boring ass millennial. In the live action movies, they find such better asides to give her and dry moments that allow Margot Robbie to bring character rather than just flipping on a switch between The Office and Harley Quinn. And like no shade to the voice actress for Harley Quinn. I would chalk it up to direction mostly. I feel like there's episodes where I'm like, "Oh my god, she's yeah, she sounds like Harley Quinn. This is perfect." But it's rare, man. It's she's just not directed. There should be more to that sentence, but there isn't. Before we talk comics, I do want to say that The Suicide Squad was fantastic. The feet thing is definitely weird, but Harley Quinn is really fucking good in the movie. I think captured really well, and I wish this version of the character made it into the DCU, but I think Joel I think James Gunn has a good head on his shoulders about how to take this character in the right direction and how to play her and frame her. I think it's gonna be sick however she appears in canon. That's also the end of that sentence. Oh, also, Birds of Prey did not do well on the box office, and when I was trying to look into like the history of the movie, there's a bunch of weird ass articles about how it's the director's fault, which maybe director bias here, but I think a lot of that shit comes down to marketing. Well, what do I know? I'm a fucking selfish ass director who thinks I can do no wrong. There's a bunch of weird ass articles where the director Kathy Yan is getting interviewed like, "What? How could you do this to us?" Which is weird that like Warner Brothers is letting her take the smoke for this. One, when I think it was more of a marketing issue. Two, I think the real issue was the fucking pandemic that happened, and like there's like statements where Kathy Yan's like apologizing for the studio not getting its money back. It's a whole weird thing. But in those statements, Kathy Yan says that she thinks a lot of the issue is people not wanting to see female stories told from a female lens. And I would just have to say she's fucking right about that. Because I was looking for reviews from YouTubers I really trust and have listened to since I was this tall, literally in middle school. And this one, who I'm not calling out, um, begins with saying that this was a movie made for women. And I'm like, "Oh, what the fuck? My favorite Australian. Why would you even say that?" I'm just saying that maybe there's some truth to her statement. I know like a lot of her statements were just taken like, "Oh, feminism." But maybe there's some truth there. So then, moving media aside, how's Harley Quinn doing in comics? Once again, I don't know, man. Call me a fucking broken record. But the fucking crop top, short shorts combo she's had for the last decade is just so goddamn boring. This one shirt from Bird of Prey is like a fucking Target shirt, and it's objectively more interesting than almost any costume she's been given the last 10 years. Give her pants. I don't know. Can we start that hashtag? Hashtag give her pants? Not just for hashtag feminism reasons, but just so it can give more design to it than just fucking. It's just boring, man. Come on. You have to be bored too of this. Maybe it's just because I was first drawn to the character because of her outfit, but I get so excited anytime the writers put her in her classic uniform. And not just because I'm nostalgic. I'm really not like a nostalgic person. Don't look at my YouTube videos. But just because it looks fucking interesting. Like, my god. Literally every outfit from Birds of Prey and the Suicide Squad washes the comic book outfits of the last decade. And that's crazy because they have to be worn by a person. In comics, you don't need logic or to abide by physics of gravity. So if we can draw anything, why is she wearing jorts? And don't get me started on like the Arkham or Injustice games. Those that's gooner bait, dude. I can't do that shit. I don't know. like so easy to please. Just give me a crumb of something interesting to work with. She's called fucking Harlequin, not white woman with a military boyfriend Quinn. I don't have a script, so this video is kind of just me crashing out, but like this is the dialogue they're writing for her. And of course, one can only read so many books over the course of a few days, and I'm down to read more Harley Quinn comics, but if there's no follow-up video to this, imagine I died of disappointment, which is what I'd say for the state of Harley Quinn media in the world of today and the world of yesterday. Disappointing. When I thought this character had peaked and they had nothing more to add, I saw Birds of Prey and saw that there is mountains of untapped potential to the character of Harley Quinn. A character who is as free as the Joker in terms of their psychology and what they can do, but rather than use that freedom to fight Batman, Harley Quinn uses that freedom to buy sandwiches and get into situationships. And that's fucking awesome. I want to read that. James Gunn said recently that he felt like too much recent Superman stuff had been focused on the super rather than the man. And I think that for Harley Quinn too, too much media has been focused on the name of Harley Quinn, the Hot Topic Toxic BF Halloween costume amalgamation, rather than the space in between that name, which separates the idea of a Harlequin and the character Harley Quinn. Was that stupid? Is that dumb? Okay, maybe that was a bit too pretentious, but you should see what I originally wrote there, and you'll be thanking me for not saying that out loud. Anyways. Thank you for watching, Men of Gotham. Now go forth and watch Birds of Prey. It's a good movie, and we can start a club for all 20 people who saw it. Until then, bye!